I can show you my hole. Shining, shimmering, just douched.
Tell me, baby, is this what you have been looking forward to?
Unbelievably tight. Perfectly just for your size. A whole new hole, don't you dare close your eyes. 100 ways to make me, I'm going to shoot so far. Don't touch my weave. Let me wreck this whole new hole for you.
A whole new hole for you and me. Welcome to the Stray Podcast, where two unrich, unfamous, semi-talented real people aimlessly move from topic to topic without course. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jason. Today's topic is Disney.
Per request. Per request, yes.
Per emails, per DMs.
Thank you so much. Living for today's podcast.
We're pretty much going to go over a little conspiracy theories, a little bit of Walt Disney history, and a little bit of Disney history. Just the California Disney.
Yes.
Anaheim, California.
We'll get to Walt Disney World later.
Because we don't have 3 hours to talk about every park. How many parks are there now?
Well,
there's Tokyo,
I believe,
Paris,
6.
Paris,
Europe.
No, I'm thinking about the California Paris.
Paris.
Yeah, Perris.
Hey, if you want to take a trip, go to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Paris. So there's Florida, Tokyo, Japan. Oh, Tokyo's in Japan.
Paris.
Mm-hmm. Shanghai. Am I missing one? Am I missing any?
Is the one in Hawaii? That's
Aulani.
Not a park. That's
it's a hotel.
Oh, okay. So it's a resort.
Yeah, resort.
Okay. Got it.
But that's still a destination to go to. It's beautiful.
So, hello, friends. We're back. Stephanie, how was your weekend?
It was so much fun.
Let's just skip it all and go straight to Sunday, because Sunday was amazing.
Yes.
Steph and I went to a drag brunch at Rage in West Hollywood. It was Disney themed,
yes.
So that kind of prompted this subject as well.
Yes.
Along with other people's requests.
Yes. Shout out to all the queens out there. Each and every one of them. Miss April Showers. I mean, she hosted the entire event. It was great. Brunch is great. I know she's there.
She is your uncle's boyfriend's brother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and you can follow her at it. It's April Showers. You could also follow her Lights Camera Brunch. She's there at Rage WeHo West Hollywood every first and third Sunday of the month.
At Rage.
Mm-hmm. So feel free to check out other shows. It's not going to be Disney themed all the time, but I mean, it was just kind of nice that she did it.
It's right on the corner of San Vicente and Santa Monica.
Yes. So definitely recommend, and then go in there for any random Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Yeah.
Totally
Sunday
fun.
Was good.
Yes, it's amazing.
It was so campy, so the production value, I mean, even though it was campy, the production value was fun.
Yeah. It was nice.
It was a lot of fun.
It was just
the food was great.
hard to get away from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I had mentioned before, we were talking about this earlier, it was just so hard to deviate from that, because then it kind of loses the Disney-esque per se to it. Mm-hmm. There's only so much. It's not like your typical drag show where it's there's so much variety that you can add or include, and so there's so much that you can drive away from and include without losing the Disney magic,
Yeah.
So
it was a lot of fun. The food was good, mm-hmm. and then we had drinks after.
Mm-hmm. Drinks during, drinks after, drinks before.
It was good. It was a good deal. They had they give you drink tickets.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. It was fantastic.
It was a hookup.
But then we drank. We didn't even drink that much, but maybe it was just the sun, all the laughing, and I don't know. But my boyfriend and I fell asleep like at 8:30, 9 o'clock. It was an early night.
Yeah, it was for me too. I literally got home, showered, and that was the end of my day. I was so looking forward to that. Just getting home and relaxing. It was wonderful. So we'll definitely be going back there again. Some great events coming up in May, so we'll definitely do some quick shout outs here. So hopefully we'll get some more information and details about that coming up in May. Cinco de Mayo. for that.
Cinco de Mayo's on a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday, so of
Sunday,
course we're going to go out there again. So, yeah, again, great. Thank you so much, Miss April Showers, for your wonderful, wonderful,
it was a lot of fun.
evening, wonderful morning, brunch, whatever you want to call it.
Well, getting right into our subject, I'm going to give a little background of Walt Disney. Born in Chicago on December 5th, 1901, Walt Disney was the fourth of 5 children. Moved with his family to a farm in Marceline, I believe that's how you spell it, Marceline, Marceline, Missouri, when he was 4. It was in Marceline, a small town community Disney remembered as an adult as having been the first received engagement for his interest in drawing for both an aunt as well as a neighbor, who was a retired doctor. However, Disney's father had difficulty making the move to Marceline and sold the farm in 1910. The following year, the family relocated to Kansas City. There, Disney's father purchased a newspaper route, and for the next 6 years, Walt helped with his deliveries. Working before and after school and on weekends in 1917, his father sold the paper route and moved the family back to Chicago, where he was employed at a jelly and fruit juice company. Walt dropped out of high school at 16, and the United States fighting in World War I. Oh, wait, it says Walt dropped out of high school and at 16. He had been an inactive student but drew consistently. And with the states fighting in the World War I, joined the Red Cross Ambulance Corps by forging his birth certificate in order to meet the Corps' minimum age of requirement of 17. So he forged his papers to get into the Marine Corps. He was sent to France in the late 1918, shortly after signing the... I lost my place, I'm sorry. Shortly after signing the Emirates at the end of fighting, Disney spent his time driving Red Cross officials and doing other tasks before being discharged in 1919.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but he was the voice of Mickey Mouse. Did you know that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. For like the earlier part of that.
Okay.
Of his drawings and / animation. Per
like
se.
the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the very beginning.
So following his Red Cross service, Disney moved to Kansas City hoping to become a newspaper cartoonist. Instead, he found working creating advertisements for magazines and movie theaters, then became interested in animation. In 1922, he opened a film studio called Laugh-O-Gram, but he struggled financially and shut it down in 1923. Mm-hmm. That same year, he moved to Hollywood and formed Disney Brothers Studio with his older sibling, Roy. Isn't that who took over? Wait, who was the person who took over Disney when Disney... Maybe I should have researched that. But that guy who... Remember how they had like the old commercials like Disney used to do back in the day? But it was somebody else with a mustache.
Like a mustache?
It was a whiter guy?
We can definitely look that up. Hang
on. Okay, so Disney formed Disney Brothers Studio with his older sibling Roy. After producing various short animation cartoons, the studio started making a series in 1927 about a character Walt had developed called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. However, the next year is what a major blow. Waite lost the rights to his popular creation, and many of his employees were let go in the corporate dispute. In response, he developed a new character originally dubbed Mortimer Mouse, before it was decided Mickey would be a better moniker.
Yeah, and that actually needs to go to the wife. His wife was the one who said, Mortimus? No.
Yeah, Mortimus, I had no idea.
And it was Roy Disney who took over.
Mortimer Mouse.
Mm-hmm. And it was Roy Disney who took over as chairman.
M-I-C, so M-O-R-T-I-M-E-R-O-E-R-M-O-U-S-E. That's too long.
No, that would not have worked.
Mortimer Mouse. Mortimer Mouse. Mickey Mouse made his official debut in 1928 short film titled, what? You should know this.
That's the Steamboat Willie.
Yes, Steamboat Willie, one of his first cartoons ever used synthesized sound effects. Yeah, that's...
You can see it in like newer movies today. That's one
on
of their
YouTube.
opening. Or that. Sure.
The rodents quickly became a star, and soon there were Mickey Mouse clubs for children as well as merchandise and a comic strip. When Mickey spoke for the first time in 1929... The Carnival Kid, his words were hot dog, Walt was unhappy with how the character sounded and went on to lead his own voice to the mouse until 1947. When he said he was too busy to continue doing so, Disney produced propaganda films for the U.S. government during World War II.
I mean, it would have made sense.
During the war, Disney employees created educational films for various federal agencies, including a 1942 animated short film, The New Spirit. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Well, it would only make sense. I mean, what other place didn't do propaganda during World War II?
True. Commissioned by the Treasury Department to encourage people to pay their income taxes as a way to support the war effort.
Even Mickey's in on the tax thing, man.
God, I hate taxes. And taxes are due Monday? Next Monday?
Next Monday, yeah. Yeah.
God.
Have you gotten yours done?
I had someone do them for me, yes, because I owe every year.
Good news, bad news?
Oh, no, I haven't heard from him yet.
Oh, really?
But he said he could help me. Like, he looked at my taxes and was like, yes, there are deductions here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Oh, God. Gives me anxiety.
Well, now Mickey's going to come to your front door.
Fuck Mickey.
Where are your taxes?
Take my dick. Okay, so in 1942, there's an animated short film called The New Spirit, commissioned by the Treasury Department to encourage people to pay their income taxes as a way to support the war efforts. The film, which starred Donald Duck, was shown in thousands of movie theaters, and even this was when they showed news.
Yes.
First in front of the movies, yeah. Thousands of movie theaters, and even earned the Academy Award nomination. The Disney studio also made training films for American military and created, free of charge, more than 1,000 insignia for military units. Although Walt initially was reluctant to risk tarnishment his image as a non-political entrepreneur by producing blankly protagonistic works, his team eventually turned out animation short as 1943's Der Fuhrer Face. I'm assuming Der Fuhrer, wasn't that part of...
Der Fuhrer?
Yeah.
Like Adolf Hitler?
Yeah. That's what it says, Der Fuhrer Face.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not German, but which made fun of the Nazis and again starred Donald Duck. Additionally, after reading the 1942 bestseller Victory Through Air Power by Major Alexander de Sawarsky, Walt, driven by his own protagonism, decided to adapt it, as well as 1943 live-action animation feature of the same name in order to win support for the book's theories. That's crazy. Well... that's boring. So, I'm going to pass it on to you, Stephanie, because So, pretty much, that's a little bit of a background of Walt Disney. I will get into more as Stephanie gets into maybe some scary stuff.
I will, but I did want to point out, only because, again, the history buff here. So, Walt's father, Elias, during back in the day, every country would compete per se to see who could create the most innovative, forward-moving technology. Europe had it, hence why the Eiffel Tower stands. Chicago had it. Chicago, back in the late 1800s, was supposed to be the modern-day LA. So, if as far west as you went, Chicago was the place to be before LA became the great city it is today. So, and I'll quote that. But, charging for parking.
Oh, God.
But Chicago, in 1893, the Chicago's World's Fair happened. So what that was, it was more like this really big fair in which the United States really said, hey, you know what, we're not going to fall behind on technology, progression, and things of the sort like that. So Elias, Walt's father, he was actually a contractor for the event. And so obviously...
For the World's Fair?
For the World's Fair.
Okay.
So in putting up buildings, taking them down, putting up exhibitions at the time. And what I mean, you got to imagine, you're in 1893, obviously just big, tall buildings are not something that you would have seen throughout at the day. And then obviously electricity and just throwing it out of proportion, just making everything look so magnificent. So when Walt was born, Elias would tell these stories about the Chicago's World's Fair and how magnificent it was. So that influenced Walt to create Disneyland, what it is today, to mirror that spirit, to captivate that kind of majestic feel. So if you ever go to Disneyland, as you walk through Main Place, you'll see Main Street. Main place, soy nomás. Main Street.
Main place is the mall.
So as you walk down Main Street, you'll notice that there's just so much lighting, and there's just so much. If you take a look, there's like a lot of Victorian places that are still influenced by that era. So there's a lot of influence that his father, based on the stories that he would tell him, he captivated that and brought him to life. So I think that was one of the coolest things that I ever learned in terms of like a historical background speaking. Yeah. But I am going to go into more of the...
I will say it is interesting how people build empires.
Yeah.
Like, Disney is huge. Like, Disney owns a lot. They own ESPN.
Yep.
Pixar, right?
Pixar.
What's the other?
Star Wars.
Is it ABC or CBS?
It's ABC.
ABC,
and I think Coast 103.
Oh, and Star Wars too? Yeah, because they just bought Star Wars, or the rights.
Mm-hmm. Marvel.
That's crazy.
Am I missing
they own so much, and it's just amazing to me how someone, as a child growing up, humble beginnings, creates this huge company out of one idea. And even though Walt, as I went over, struggled, he started 2 companies before Disney. Or his quote-unquote Disney, his last name. And then it's crazy.
The ambition was there, and I think it was a lot of people that write about his father-son relationship, they're not always on good terms, or they're not always like roses. I mean, it's never said that he had a great relationship with him. It's always just been kind of like a gray area where, yes, his father was hard on him or whatnot. But I mean, that was like a different time frame. So parents before don't have the relationship that parents today have with their kids. So before, children were just kind of another person in the household to work and bring income. That's what children were in like the late 1800s,
because
early 1900s.
He was older when he like was officially successful. He was like what, in his 50s or 60s already?
He was up.
Because he was born 1901. Disneyland opened 1954 or 55. So like what is that? He was 54.
Yeah. So
56,
he only got to see really Disney for like maybe close to like 2 decades maybe.
Yeah.
Before he passed. Did you say the date?
No, I don't think it's 1960 something.
Yeah, so I got that information, so I'll go into it right now. But, so I think it was 1966, December 15, 1966, that's when Walt Disney died, and then having his brother take over the company at that time. Roy Disney became the chairman, CEO, and things skyrocketed from there. But I am going to go into a little bit more of the creepy side.
Yes!
Which is really fun. I know a lot of people love this kind of shit, you know?
Fuck yeah, we do.
Like the paranormal crap. And you know what? I was just doing, as I was doing my research, I was looking at like, technically they cannot confirm nor deny that these incidents happened, but obviously people are there.
It's the drugs.
Of course, yeah.
Because you have to do drugs if you go to Disney.
No, you don't.
To feel it.
So, for anybody who's been on Main Street, there is right next to the customer service or relations center, there is like a fire station. Above it is Walt Disney's old apartment. So he used to live there with his wife. So if you notice, if you look up above, there is a lamp there that's always lit. It is lit 24/7. It never turns on. So this light is kept on in Walt Disney's former apartment above the firehouse on Main Street. So one night, apparently it is said an employee came in to dust and turn off the lights. However, when she left, the light repeatedly turned on and off as she attempted to leave. So I mean, that's kind of creepy already. So some versions of the story claim that she heard a voice say, "Don't forget, I'm still here." So, I mean, I don't know how true that can be.
No, it was, "Don't forget how much money it costs to
Don't forget.
Don't forget to bring a sample of blood, semen,
and everything, and all of the above.
Anything you can.
But it is still on. Even during the daytime, the lights on, and you can see it.
So you said it's by the fire thing?
It's by the fire station. Mm-hmm. It's right above, and you can see it. Like they'll have like a.
Is that the original building?
That's the original building.
Wow.
Yeah. So he used to live there, and then up until he died. Also, in in Space Mountain, some of you may have heard of the Ghost Rider. So obviously some people who go there alone, sometimes I go there alone, and I have to ride rides alone.
Sad.
But that's not...
Just kidding. No, that's actually a little secret that I didn't know about.
Single riders?
Single riders. Yeah, if you wait in the single rider line, it is shorter, but you just ride by yourself and or ride with a stranger.
Yeah.
But if you wait as people in the single rider line, there is a chance you can actually ride with the person you're with.
Maybe in the front and the back,
Yeah.
or sometimes if you're lucky next to each other.
But we were on the rides like that.
Yeah.
Like
it was
that.
quick. Yeah. Like within 10, 15 minutes, you're on the ride.
Yeah.
Whereas the line, it's usually, if you don't have a fast pass, you're there for like 90 minutes plus. Especially in the summer coming up. So at Space Mountain, they claim to have a single rider ghost that sometimes sits next to those single riders that come along. So obviously in Space Mountain, at the very end, near the end of the ride, there's like a picture taken. They'll take your picture, and some people are really fun. They go at it like people like be on their phones, or they'll put the sunglasses on. But there is a supposed ghost that apparently died, or I guess who died in the ride back in the 70s. So apparently he appears and then disappears before the ride ends. So it's almost like he's trapped in like a portal in Space Mountain. So I've never seen it, and I've ridden alone several times, but I'm actually really curious to continue trying it until I see it, and then I cry and then I scream.
Girl.
Yeah.
Girl. Disneyland, the resort in Anaheim, California. Walt Disney got the idea to build Disneyland while he was sitting on a bench watching his own children ride a merry-go-round. Walt then bought a 160-acre parcel of land in Anaheim, California in 1954 for $879,000. The doors opened for business July 17, 1955. The cost was $1 for adults and 50 cents for kids. But each ride had its own fee.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So there were 35 rides when it opened. The Anaheim, California park was also the only park that was completed under Walt's direct supervision. Okay.
I actually have another story about that.
It cost $17 million to build, which is about $117 million in today's money. Space Mountain alone in 1977 cost just that much. So it cost $17 million to actually build the park, but then it cost Space Mountain to build that much, which was the same amount in 1977.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Going back to when Disney was creating the park, obviously he purchased the land, which at that time had orange groves. So some of the trees that you see at Disneyland are still the original trees from when he was overseeing the project. So
because we in Orange County, baby.
Yep. Some of those trees are still there, probably touched by Walt himself. And there's some benches where he has sat down, and they kind of memorialize that, and they'll put like a picture of him sitting in the actual bench.
They'll put a stool sample.
Yep. And everybody's just, But so when he was overseeing the project, he had gone around the orange groves and placed red tapes around trees that he wanted to keep.
Okay.
So the person
Oh.
the person that came in, he was supposed to take down ribbons that were a specific color that were not to be kept in the park. And unfortunately, this person was colorblind. And he took down the wrong tree.
Oh my god, all of them?
All of them.
Obviously, Walt was not in that day.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I can just imagine when he's like, this is so wrong.
Disney parks and resorts brought in $18.4 billion in revenue in 2017.
Jeez.
According to Walt Disney's company 2017 annual report, clearly the Disney theme parks are a huge revenue source for the company, but they also cost a lot to operate. The Disneyland Resort alone consists of 2 theme parks, Disneyland and the California Adventure, as well as 3 hotels and the Downtown Disney Entertainment and Dining Complex. All of which require maintenance, cost, payroll costs, and other expenses that keep the parks and other properties running smoothly for 365 days a year. Because as you know, Disney does not close.
Yep.
Estimated Disneyland daily operating cost is $3.25 million. Disney owns and operates 7 different parks and resort properties: the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, the Disneyland Resort in California, Disneyland Paris, Aulani, a Disneyland resort and spa in Hawaii. The Disneyland Vacation Club, the Disney Cruise Line, and the Adventures by Disney. Disney also effectively ownership of the Hong Kong Disney Resort and the Shanghai Disney
That's
Plaza.
right. Yeah. Shanghai and Hong Kong. Oh, wow.
Operating all of Disney parks and resorts costs $10.68 billion, with the B as in boy, every year. According to company's annual report, if the cost to operate was split evenly per park, that would amount to $3.25 million per park per day. Operating costs for each park, including employee pay, landscaping, ride maintenance, park cleaning, and more.
Wow. I would have expected something in the trillion.
Crazy.
Yeah. But,
well, I mean, but no, that's... Oh, sorry, operating all the parks... Okay, so it's $10.68 billion. I would think that would be more, too. Yeah. But $10.68 billion every year to operate all the parks.
It just takes... And I totally get this, because it just takes so much to actually keep that park maintained clean. It's never dirty compared to other amusement parks I've been to. It's never, everything's just so just cleaned.
Yeah.
Just kept up to date. You know, anything that is missing or needs refurbishing, it's immediately replaced.
That's $8 billion in revenue. Because it costs...
But I would have thought it would be in the trillion of revenue.
Well, maybe. Okay, so Disney parks report... So Disney parks altogether brought in $18.4 billion. But they cost $10 billion to... Keep up. Mm-hmm. So that's $8 billion in revenue just for the parks.
So they're spending
obviously
more
they're not... No, $18.4 billion
18
in revenue.
Yeah.
But they cost 10 to keep up maintenance for all the stuff that I listed. So that's $8 billion in revenue, but that's not accounting everything else that Disney has their hands in. Ugh. So that's just in parks and resorts. So that's $8 billion a year.
This is not including
$8 billion
I know,
a year.
But I would have thought it would be in the trillions. Honestly,
$8 billion is a lot of money.
I know it's a lot, but I would have expected trillion. Come on, Disney.
That's your money.
I know.
Yeah, that's your money.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. Uh-huh. I know.
Think about that when you're starving.
So apparently, one of the myths and theories is that there are real bones in the Pirates of the
Caribbean I heard that
ride. Excuse me. And apparently, it is. There are, and in addition to that, there's also other human scattered remains around the park. So Disney employees have said for years that people regularly scatter the ashes of loved ones on the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction and other places around the park, such as the Haunted Mansion, and spots for honoring their dead. So in 2007, a woman was seen pouring a powdery substance in the water. Don't drink the water. The Pirates ride.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons. Remember where Lisa...
Lisa, drink the water.
And she goes on a trip.
Yeah.
Maybe we should drink the water.
Apparently, in October 2018, Disney custodians from both parks confirmed to the Wall Street Journal that not only do people scatter their ashes at the park, but the practice is so popular that maintenance staff has a code for it called HEPA, HEPA cleanup.
Is that an acronym?
It must be an acronym.
Wait. Let's guess what it means. HEPA?
Human...
Help, excrement, pick... People's...
Apples?
Apples. Help, excrement... Wait, no, is excrement with an E? Excrement?
Yeah, excrement. Okay. Yeah. Have Eric pick ashes up. Have Eric pick them up.
So they can only hire guys that name Eric. Got it. Okay, go ahead.
So it does refer to an air filter system that picks up ultrafine dust particles. So the Haunted Mansion probably has so much human ashes in it that it's not even funny how.
So you're breathing
it in. Yeah.
Everyone's grandpa.
Yeah,
grandma.
it's wow. Yeah.
Is that where you want your ashes spread?
I do. Okay. You can quote me.
God.
And in the ride, one of the bones in the ride, you know how they have a lot of bones that are standing if they're in a lost cave. If you ever
Pirates?
Go in Pirates,
okay.
Yeah. There are a lot of skeletons, just historically speaking, and with the genre of pirates and things of the sort. So The fake bones did come from UCLA's medical school in 1967. They were eventually replaced with phony ones, but at one point they were all using real bones in the
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the only ones that are still real are the skull and crossbones embedded on the headboard of the ride. Those are still real.
Those are still real?
Those are still real, yeah.
Wow. Employee pay. The Walt Disney Company employs a total of 199,000 people. And there are 23,000 cast members working at Disneyland alone, with about 3,000 to 6,000 working each day depending on seasonal needs, according to Tom Nickel, author of DisneyDorkTom.com. Cast members' jobs include attraction hosts, operators, cashiers, character performers, vacation planners, food service workers, guest relationship workers, security officers, technicians, photographers, parade performers, and parking attendants. That's crazy.
What's the amount of that?
The amount of what? Employees?
199,000.
199,000. Wow. Total. Estimated cost of employee per day is $396,000. Many cast members are paid hourly, which most making $10 to $12 per hour, which that is not a lot of money for a company that makes a revenue of $8 billion a year.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Disney, come on. Let's get a little higher than that. Okay, at least to 18. Cast members that work at the attractions reported their salaries $10 per hour, as $12 per hour according to Glassdoor. Technicians earn more than double, reporting that earn $29 per hour. The highest paid Disney employees are managers who make about $134,000 a year. Wow. That's just a manager?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How...
I know. I've always
doesn't make any sense.
I know. I've always said, like, one day maybe, corporate might take me in as an
And this is
employee.
according to 2017,
Yeah,
which is just
2
years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, sorry.
So I always say that, but just looking at how much people make there.
So if managers make $134,000 a year, but yet the employees only make $10 or $12 an hour,
yeah,
you can bump that up to $20 an hour.
You can. But you also have to think about the amount of employees that they have.
But I know, but aren't most of them part-time anyways?
They're all part-time.
Oh, see.
I don't even know of any single full-time Disney employee.
But $8 billion a year, girl.
I know.
That's just
true.
Disney
That's
parks.
true.
That's just Disney parks.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Disney Channel, Disney movies, etc. Anyways. Technicians earned more than... Oh, sorry. We already went over that. Okay. Mechanical engineers who make about $85,000 a year, and HR managers who make about $82,000 a year, according to Glassdoor reports. Landscaping, the Disneyland Resort sprawls across 541 acres of land in Anaheim, California. The hundreds of acres of property are landscaped by Disneyland's holoculture team, which consists of 100 cast members who work in landscape design, installation, and maintenance, landscape irrigation, landscape design. Each care always appears to be perfectly maintained to ensure those enjoy Disneyland vacationers have a truly magical experience.
It is a magical
And that costs $169 million a year. $1.69 million a year for their landscaping alone. That's just the landscaping, and then obviously the employees pay for the landscaping jobs. That's a lot. It's a lot of fucking money.
I know. There are some things that I really don't agree with, and it's not always like, oh, I'm all for Disney. I mean, when it comes to things like that, I'm just very disappointed in that. I don't know where they spend the rest of their money in, or
Tell your next story. I'm going to look up other corporations to see how much they make. Like Apple, Microsoft. What would be a competitor for Disney?
Google?
No, Disney. Knott's Berry Farm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who wants to go to Knott's?
I'm just kidding.
Who wants to go to Knott's? No one wants to go to Knott's.
Someone who can afford to go to Knott's. Knott's is cheap. Six Flags is cheap. It's just 2 hours away.
There's no magic.
Oh, fuck the magic. I'll show you magic right here, bitch.
As Jason's pulling out his dick.
Where is it?
I'm going to go ahead and go into another creepy story here. There is an allegedly lady in white, and it goes back to La Llorona. La Llorona is going to Disneyland for free. That bitch is going in there for free. So, a lady in white, in turn-of-the-century clothing, who died in 1900 on the land where Disneyland stands today. she allegedly walks Main Street at night as if window shopping and guides lost children to the Disneyland Baby Care Center.
Oh?
I'm a little bit creeped out about that.
That's
but not
too real.
only that, apparently it's a small world, and I know it's like one of I like to go there if I'm like really tired. Yep. A guest apparently wrote a first-hand account of It's a Small World being stopped in 1999. The lights coming up and everyone being asked to exit the boats.
Oh.
The guest decided to take some pictures to use the film up on his roll. When we used to remember those roll film cameras?
No, I don't remember. I'm too young.
Oh, that's right, 15-year-old. Anywho,
when I was born, my mom had an iPhone.
So when the guest snapped a picture, it looked like a hanging child from the ceiling.
Ew, hanging like by its neck?
Yeah. Some believe that it was a child who committed suicide. Others blame mischievous cast members placing a doll up there. Well, it could have been a doll, but if you look at the picture, it looks like a child hanging from up there. And apparently, it also some cast members have also said that there have been instances in which the dolls from It's a Small World will randomly move on their own. But these are mechanical figurines, so maybe there may be some extra electric current going through them. I mean, that's just one way that we can debunk that. I'm assuming.
That's scary.
Yeah, it looks like a kid hanging, actually. Looking at
and then what was that ride where the whole building moved in a circle?
Matterhorn?
No.
Innovations?
Innovation. Was it called Innovations?
Yeah.
And some girl got caught between.
Yeah, she got caught in the middle of it. And this was actually very recent, I think.
It was the 80s, I think.
Very recent.
Yeah.
These were all from like 60s. Well, that was 99, but yeah.
That's scary too.
Yeah, but apparently these are just other stories that I've heard that anybody who does pass away in Disneyland, they seem to have this like ridiculous amount of settlements that like the family's like freaking set for life. So if anything, like if that ever happens to me, I hope it's
they have HIPAA.
Yeah, HIPAA. Yeah,
HIPAA.
HIPAA.
Hey, HIPAA.
Hey Eric, that's what it means. Hey Eric, pick Ash. Hey Eric, pick Ash.
HIPAA. And they've had there was an accident on Thunder Mountain where the car, remember how it boosted up and took someone's head off?
Yes, and that's why the bones of the dinosaur are cut in half. Mm-hmm. So that happened. That's one of them. Roger Rabbit. That was
the
another
Matterhorn.
one.
No, not the Matterhorn. There
was a Matterhorn one.
There was?
There was a Matterhorn one, and let me get that
some
to
girl,
you.
Didn't they stand up?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Matterhorn, and I can go ahead and go into more details on that. Dolly Young was in a bobsled on the Matterhorn ride in 1984. Young is said to have unbuckled herself to assist a child on the ride, As she stood up, she hit the cross track overhead just before a dip and was thrown onto the tracks, where she was then run over by the next bobsled.
Oh, shit.
Since her death, Disneyland employees have experienced a feeling of being watched around Dolly's dip, they call it.
Dolly's dip. You know what that means.
As they walk the track after the park closes. And for those of you asking if there is a basketball court up in the Matterhorn, yes, there is. But it was for structure purposes, not to actually have a basketball court up there. It was just and also for employee use.
Will employees get bored?
Yep. We definitely don't want to go into Dolly's dip anytime soon, right?
Ooh, Dolly's dip. And also, didn't someone die on the Mark Twain when the rope was too tight and it flung?
I have heard of people being drowned in the Great Rivers of America, which is close to the Tom Sawyer Island, as well. So, and then Roger Rabbit happened in the 90s, I believe, as well. Because I think that little area has been open since 93, I think, or something.
And just FYI, Apple employees get paid $15 an hour. Starting price. So it's $3 more than Disney.
Should we consider a career change?
Well, we work at Disney. Just kidding, guys.
But I think they make up in that when they give their employees like the 3 extra passes that they can bring in, whatever. So, okay,
Girl.
that's just me.
Girl.
Oh, I do want to end with the last part here, which
Okay.
is what we've all been waiting for: the great myth that Walt is. I don't even know how to say this. Cryogenically frozen.
Yeah. Kelly, remember when in Demolition Man?
Yeah. There is a persistent rumor that Disney's frozen body is buried somewhere in Disneyland. Some people say it's underneath the Sleeping Beauty castle. And of course, everyone knows that Disney died of lung cancer on December 15th, 1966, and was apparently cremated 2 days later. But according to Bob Nelson, the head of California Cryonics Society, the decision to cremate was made by the movie producer's family. Had Disney been given the choice, Nelson believed he would have opted for preservation. So Walt Disney wanted to be frozen, and Nelson has revealed in a 1972 interview, lots of people think that he was, and that the body is in cold storage in his basement. The truth is, Walt missed out. He never specified it in writing, and when he died, the family didn't go for it. They had him cremated. I personally have seen his ashes there on the Forest Lawn. Forest Lawn, isn't that Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
2 weeks later, we froze the first man. Apparently, the first man that passed 2 weeks later after Disney. I'm like, okay. How are we to believe that?
I don't believe this shit.
If Disney had been the first, it would have
If I'm
made
dead,
headlines.
I'm dead. Okay, just let me sleep. Please don't freeze me. I hate being cold, and you know that.
But you'll be
Fuck
dead.
that shit. It don't matter.
It's like what's that movie where? The Groove It, Baby.
Showgirls? Oh, Austin Powers.
Yes.
Groove It, baby. No. Don't think that's how it goes.
Baby. Well,
we have come to the end of this
Yes.
episode, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, subscribe, and comment. Please. We love all the support we're getting. We've got a couple emails which we are going to read next week. We just wanted to get a few more to read. Anything else you want to promote? Anything coming up?
Actually, while we're on the subject of creepiness, I do have a friend. Her name is Kelly. She does have an online, creepiness, online witchcraft shop.
Ooh.
Lunam Love, and that's www.lunamlove.com. You can also find Lunam Love on Etsy. So she does have a shop. Hit her up. Check out her YouTube channel. She is at YouTube. You can shop for her items. I have purchased some. I have experienced great energy with her products, candles, soaps, bath bombs, you name it. And she is great in getting one-on-one calls with you as well. So just hit her up. Lunam Love. So she is going to have a Psychic Fair on Sunday, April 14th from noon to 5. And that's at 2424 North Grand Avenue, Suite K, Santa Ana, California. So if you're interested in having a psychic fair, that's something you're into, I thought it was kind of appropriate given the type of things that we're talking about
Chit
here.
chat.
Yeah, why not check it out? Again, Lunam Love.
Okay, you guys, we love you. thestraypodcast@gmail.com. Please use the hashtag StrayTuned. You can follow me on Instagram at RealMenRide, RYDE, and Steffi is
Steffi88 1988.
Please like, comment, and rate. We love you guys. Bye. Deepa.
Hey.